Now, the June deliveries that so many of the NEO investors have been patiently waiting just landed. We got to see the figures, and as seen on the screen, you'll notice that NEO for the month of June, they delivered 10,707 cars. Now, this obviously it is better, or it is at least much higher, a bit towards their lower guidance. As you know that the NEO's lower guidance was around 10,000 or just over 10,100. So to see 10,700 is something that is encouraging, and it makes me think, or it makes us think, that obviously NEO probably they are on a route to recovery when it comes to deliveries. Now, you will remember that as the video I did 2 days ago, where we were discussing about one of NEO senior executives who indicated that June they will be busy with the production ramp up, which obviously from July we can expect to see good delivery numbers. I mean, July, it is that month, or this month, it is the month where we're expecting NEO to deliver some good delivery numbers. In fact, we're expecting, or so many of the NEO investors are expecting to see a record this month, because we know that NEO, as per the executive, or one of the senior executives, they indicated that they were upgrading, or they were still upgrading, of course, their production capacity in line with the, of course, many NT 2.0 models they, of course, officially unveiled. So this is something that is incredible, and this 10,700, I know that probably it is even lower than my guidance, where, or my prediction, where I had said that probably we were going to see around 11,000 vehicles, but it is quite close, or it is close, which I think, of course, probably the next week or in the next coming week, we might see the NEO being rewarded for this, because it is an improvement. I mean, you will know that for the first 2 months of the second quarter, NEO was delivering just over 6,000 vehicles. So it means that, of course, this over 10,000 deliveries, it is an improvement from the 6,000s, or from the 6,000s we saw in the first 2 months of the second quarter. So I'm very excited about this, and obviously I hope for the best, and I cross my fingers that obviously this month we get to see NEO reporting plus minus 20,000 vehicles. Now, before we dig deep into this video, you already know that this video is just an entertainment video and not a professional financial advice video. I would really appreciate it when you just hit the like button if you do enjoy, or if you are enjoying the content that I'm giving you about NEO June deliveries, which just popped out as we speak, or as I'm making this video. We just received them just now. So this is something that is interesting, or quite interesting. I mean, yesterday you will know that NEO, of course, finished on a green, which obviously it is something that is good, right? I mean, some of the retail investors are projecting that probably next week, in terms of the share price, we are going to see NEO probably finally passing that over $10 mark, which will be a good thing if we are to see that. So these 10,707 vehicles which NEO reported today, these are low numbers, but obviously we knew that we had to expect this, because the first 2 months of Q2, as I've said, NEO delivered just over 6,000 vehicles. So I think probably I'm hoping that we are starting with the recovery of the deliveries that we get to see from NEO, and come, of course, end of the month or beginning of August, on the 1st, we're going to see NEO obviously reporting some massive delivery numbers, which obviously with that will come, of course, more recovery from the share price. I think for now, even if the share price is to go probably and go over $10, as some of the retail investors are saying, probably next week, but I don't think it will do that much. So the only figures that can seriously, I personally believe, can move the NEO share price is when NEO start delivering around 20,000 vehicles. That is when I personally think we're going to see, of course, the share price moving sharply, or surging sharply, which will, of course, result in those that were persevering to start at least seeing their NEO positions becoming better. So yes, this 10,700, I know it is lower than the kind of deliveries that NEO reported last year in 2022, because I think last year around this time of the month of June, they sort of like had reported over 12,000 vehicles. Now, one of the things that obviously has been a huge impact into NEO's deliveries is, number one, of course, is competition. Number two is, of course, the price cuts that obviously were introduced by other EV makers early this year. I mean, you will know that NIO only introduced price cuts on their models around May, and obviously those are the kind of things that are expected to drive sales into the NIO stock. Another thing which of course had a huge impact into NIO is of course the subsidies, or the Chinese government subsidies, of course, which were being offered last year, which expired or lapsed around December of 2022. Those subsidies were the ones that were also boosting the sales of EV cars like NIO, and to get to see them expiring end of last year, of course we knew, or sort of like knew in the back of our minds, that it will have a negative impact into the deliveries that we see from EV makers like NIO. But the good thing with that is that you know that from January of 2024 there are news that are saying, or there are confirmations saying, that obviously we are going to see subsidies resuming from January 2024 until 2027, that is in December, which is something that of course that will seriously of course boost sales. But otherwise, just for the rest of the year, I believe that these price cuts will do enough, or will give NIO enough deliveries to of course persevere throughout this whole of course EV competition we are seeing in China. So I'm very excited with the 10,707 vehicles, and I believe that we might see, and I believe that we are going to see of course improvements starting from July in terms of the deliveries. In fact, from the NEV insurance registrations that we get to see on a week to week, we might see the improvement starting there, because most of you know by now that each and every week we get to see the NEV insurance registrations coming out from China, which give us the kind of deliveries we are to expect from our favorite EV companies like NIO. So yes, some of the EV cars or car companies like XPeng just delivered, I think, just over 8,500, whereas Li Auto saw an all-time record, which is over 32,000 deliveries. Well, Li Auto, you know that it's like a hybrid, it's not a fully electric vehicle car, so obviously I think it does make sense for them to obviously get those big numbers, because ladies and gents, their cars are not fully electric, and you know that due to the EV charging infrastructure, some people are not yet comfortable buying EVs, and the more we see the deployments of charging or swapping infrastructures, we are going to definitely see of course consumers starting to be comfortable buying an EV or buying EV cars in China, which that, ladies and gents, will make NIO to flourish. Otherwise, with all that, guys, as I just thought I'd just give you this quick update. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that last button, comment and subscribe, and once you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click the notification bell so that at least to get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And before you buy NIO for the very first time, please do make sure that you do your own due diligence so that at least you can be comfortable when you are investing into the stock market. Otherwise, that's all from me, and God bless you all.